What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. The League community is full of some amazingly talented artists and designers that want to try their hand at designing their own skins or champions, and of course Riot actively encourages people getting creative as they can, as you can see from their art contests and their newly released fan content website. Although it's never entirely been confirmed that a fan champion concept has been turned into a reality, skin concepts have definitely influenced Riot in the past, in the case of Astronautilus, Pool Party Ziggs, and quite a few others. And so with that in mind, we wanted to share off and showcase some of the most awesome and coolest fan skin concepts that we've come across. Some skins that we think Riot should definitely consider using as inspiration, or perhaps just straight up adding them into the game. And if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button, and if you don't enjoy the video, feel free to hit that dislike button too, and let's get started. So our first skin for today comes from Evelyn Trifonov, and it was designed for the Polycount art contest a while back. And it's Pirate Twitch, and as you would probably expect, it's essentially just Twitch dressed up as a pirate. The clothing's based on some sort of like pirate deckhand, complete with that ragged shirt, shorts, and even a little sash and a bandolier. In his hands, or paws I guess, he clutches a pair of flintlock pistols which look just like sleeker versions of Miss Fortune's twin pistols. The rest of the skin's pretty straightforward, he's just a blue rat, although it does look like he's also wearing an eye patch, which is pretty awesome attention to detail. Twitch has been portrayed in the past with quite a few different themes, as a thief, a vandal, and even as a gangster, so it definitely makes sense as a Twitch concept and could explore quite an awesome new fantasy for him. Next up we have Bloodraven Quinn by Jay Zhang, who's a professional concept artist who's even worked for massive companies like LucasArts and Wizards of the Coast in the past. As far as concepts go, it's actually a little bit simple. For the most part, it's just a color swap to an awesome crimson red, but it still manages to be super badass, despite the fact that it's quite a simple concept, at least on paper. Most of the skin is in the blood red clothing, which is offset by white armor pieces and a pretty killer looking crossbow. Honestly, I gotta say my favorite part of the skin is probably Valor. Swapping from an eagle to a crow in this scenario might conflict with the lore a little bit, but there's actually something that is just so awesome about it. And the fact that Valor is wearing his own little pieces of armor is actually pretty sweet too. It's kind of hard to tell whether the skin is meant to be like legitimately evil or kind of just badass and a little bit gritty, but it's always cool to imagine champions in a different light, so it's definitely an awesome concept for sure. Next up we have a skin by Aeljawar, and it's Zombie Teemo. If Teemo wasn't creepy enough already, this definitely is going to be taking him a step further. Personally, I love the way Aeljawar has shown the levels of decay as you move across his model. You start with the left eye, which has essentially been just decayed to bone, and then as you move across you find a little bit of tissue, and then Teemo's fur, and finally his relatively untouched bunny suit, save for a couple of blood splats of course. Unfortunately, this skin is something that Riot probably can't make into an actual skin for the game, because although Riot does definitely like having horror elements around, you have to be a little bit careful with them because of the demographic of League, and as well there's quite a few countries that the game is played in where there's some pretty strict laws in terms of what visuals you can have in a game. Strictly, it's very difficult to show something related to skeletons. Zombie Teemo's an awesome concept though for sure, and if League had a higher age rating, this would probably be just an amazing skin for him. Unfortunately though, Riot does need to keep things PG rated, so they can't exactly put this exact skin into the game itself, but nevertheless, it's still an awesome piece of work. Next up, we're looking at Halloween Lulu by Nora Zhang, and it's a pretty clever mix between horror elements and the happy-go-lucky vibe that Lulu's really known for. You've got all the staples of a true Halloween theme, skulls, scary pumpkins, eyeballs, and witch hats, but it's kind of offset by the color scheme that gives it a really playful feeling. The claw hand staff is a pretty cool idea, and you gotta love the addition of Little Pix as a bat following Lulu around. It looks kind of like the polymorph creature would actually be like a big eyeball with a hat on it as well. Definitely on the theme, but I can imagine it would be pretty creepy in the actual game. More complex concepts like this would have to potentially be legendary if they were made into real skins, because they would probably need to be done using like a new model rather than just like a retexture or perhaps a recolor, but it'd definitely work for Lulu, who surprisingly doesn't have anything like this in the game yet. Kinda seems like a missed opportunity by Riot on this one, so I'd definitely like to see this one come into the game for sure. Next up, we're taking a look at Witch Jinx, which is a concept completed by Haryarty, and there's actually a decent amount of witchy kind of stuff going on in today's episode. It seems like it's a fantasy see that concept artists in the community really do like exploring, and I gotta say it's definitely awesome, so who can blame them. Witch Jinx was completed for the Riot Games art contest, and in all honesty, it doesn't necessarily look all that witch-like, or, you know, like a traditional witch at least. It's probably closer to something more gothic, I guess. That being said though, the skin itself is just insanely cool, especially the weapons, which I gotta say look absolutely awesome. You know, they throw off some serious steampunk vibes, especially Pow Pow, and the blue and pink fluids or gases mixing together actually give a lot of credit to the witch theme itself. It's kind of like potions being mixed and then fired out of the minigun or something. The only thing that seems like it could maybe cause issues in terms of actually putting this skin into the game is the design of Fishbones looking more like an explosive crossbow rather than a rocket launcher. You know, having a big ass crossbow on your back is kind of like Vayne's thing, and it would potentially cause some issues with Riot if it was a real skin, since iconic things like that can cause clarity issues, but you know, I gotta say either way the design is just super solid, and I could definitely imagine this becoming a real skin in the game later on, as long as Fishbones was made to stand out a little bit more from Vayne's design. Next up we have Orianna SM by Slowgun9, and the level of detail in this skin is honestly just so amazing. You know, it really stays true to the idea that Orianna was originally a human girl who kinda enjoyed watching the dancers from the theater. And so of course, as with their other skins, this concept shows Orianna as a ballerina. The theme is kind of like what you'd expect to see at a masquerade ball, which totally makes sense I guess, since Slogan named it Orianna SM. She's covered in flowers and her clothing is ruffled, so it's pretty distinct and unlike the current Orianna skin offerings. The real eye-catching piece for the concept though is definitely her ball, which is actually a pretty grim looking kind of skull, which is also adorned with flowers and some makeup. The really impressive part for me about this concept is how well it ties together Orianna's backstory and lore as like a young girl with a love of theater who was turned into essentially what is a clockwork killing machine. In all honesty, you gotta give some massive credit to Slowgun for an awesome concept and overall a seriously detailed piece of design work. Next up we have Witch Nami, which is a concept by Thorsten Ert, and it imagines Nami as a way more sinister type of character. The color scheme is actually a little bit similar to maybe the Soul Stealer skins with the ominous green glow and bits of purple and stuff, and it definitely puts a super awesome spin on how you'd normally view Nami as a character. The splash art has some really cool notable features. The tentacles, you got the staff, and her white hair are all really sweet touches that set the concept apart from a lot of other Nami skins in game. There's just something about painting a usually sort of happy-go-lucky or friendly champion in a really dark and evil light that is just so awesome and satisfying to play with, and it's been executed exceptionally well here by Thorsten. She does look pretty terrifying, for a mermaid at least especially. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Syndra, not to the point where they would look too similar to be in the game together, but just like her face, her hair, and her helmet. There's something just eerie about this skin, and you know she's packing a ton of power on the backside. The skin would probably have to be legendary to do it justice, but it would be seriously awesome to see Riot animate some tentacles for her to be whipping around inside of her ultimate as the tidal waves surge forward, for example. You know, there's a ton of cool stuff that could happen with Witch Nami for sure. Next up we're looking at Black and Gold Akali, which is a pretty shiny looking skin designed by a Chinese student known as Sightmer. As far as being a ninja is concerned, this skin maybe doesn't necessarily fit the fantasy. I mean, with all those shiny gold bits, people are probably going to see you coming from a little bit far away. However, that's definitely not going to be much of an issue for Akali, who's happy to fight in a nurse outfit of course, and overall it is just such a sweet looking design piece. It doesn't necessarily seem to have any particular theme in mind, at least in terms of the already existing themes of the skin lines. You know, this one's just made to look really ornate, and the colors suit Akali really well. Sightmer even went to the trouble of adding a little bit more depth by designing a black and gold Shen in the background, one of Akali's allies and a fellow ninja too, of course. It's simple but well executed, and it'd be really awesome to see Shen's black and gold concept up close too, maybe even with one done for their friend Kennen as well. Black and gold is a really popular color scheme. You know, it draws a lot of attention, it offers a lot of flair that really stands out, and it definitely pulls the whole concept together quite nicely. Our next concept is another one by Jay Zhang, and it's one that is known as Thunder God Pantheon, and it's clearly modeled to take after Zeus, the thunder god himself of Greek mythology. It's actually such a good fit for a concept for Pantheon, since Pantheon is essentially modeled after a hoplite, who were those, Greek foot soldiers armed with spears. Instead of the usual armor and spear, Thunder God Pantheon has a lot more of a legendary feel to it, and his spear of course crackles with energy just like a lightning bolt, which makes total sense if it is based off of Zeus in the first place. He looks super elite compared to his base skin, so although being relatively similar in terms of the styling, he's just on another level entirely. Take his helmet for example, instead of the usual basic Spartan style sort of helmet, it's got a full face guard with his eyes glowing through the gaps. In-game, this skin would have so much more detail than the classic Pantheon skin, but the highlight would definitely have to be that lightning spear, which could open up a ton of awesome opportunities for Riot to go crazy in the VFX department with the sound effects, animations, and of course, the particle effects. It's a really impressive piece of art and a solid improvement to a lot of Pantheon's alternate skins, and overall takes Pantheon's design in a really different and exceptionally awesome direction. And for the next skin that we're taking a look today, it's Space-Invader Nunu, and this concept was dreamt up by Michelle Tanner as a part of a Riot art contest in the past, and I gotta say the attention to detail on this one is just amazing. The skin has a, futuristic design like you'd maybe expect for a space-themed skin, so instead of being a Yeti, Willump is instead a robot, or at least a Yeti in a spacesuit I guess, that is being controlled by two little joysticks. The splash art's been done in the same style as a lot of other Riot splash arts, and it's super high quality, so it looks really convincing as if it was almost a genuine piece of work by Riot themselves. The idea of Nunu controlling Willump with the little joysticks is really cool honestly, and it puts a nice little twist on the idea of him just pulling Willump's hair to try and direct him wherever he wants him. There's also a nice light-hearted angle to the concept. He's meant to be a big space invader, but instead of crushing the snowy planet's inhabitants, they're just smashing up a little snowman that almost looks like Lulu, although the kids in the background I gotta say don't look too happy about it. The skin reminds me a lot of Astronautilus, which was another fan concept that eventually became a real skin into the game, which shares that sort of spacesuit concept, although the two are colored a little bit differently, and just kind of look different enough in general that it definitely wouldn't be a problem if Riot decided to make Space-Invader Nunu a reality. I was personally super impressed with this piece. It's a really strong concept that fits really well with Nunu, and the quality of the work is just insane. Either way, that's just about going to wrap things up for our top 10 fan skins today. It was in no particular order, of course, but definitely let us know which skin was your favorite in the comments section below, and definitely check out all of the original posts for the artists. We're going to link them in the description. Show them some love and give your support to the original artist creators for sure. Either way though, looks like that's going to be it from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.